What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 Pokemon in Pokemon Go, ranked via the stats. But instead of just taking a look at Pokemon currently in Pokemon Go, I'm actually going to extend it to all of Gen 1 through Gen 4, just because we have a couple of unreleased Pokemon with some incredible stats, so we definitely want to cover that. It never fails that people tend to ask a question anytime I show a graphic like this in a video. People are like, hey, where can I see a list? How can I see the top 10? How can I see the top 20? Well, this video is for you. But other than that, what I'm gonna do on my second channel is upload a video where I just simply show the graphics, and I'm gonna go up to the top 20, and I'll release that tomorrow. So if you do want to check that out, make sure you head over to the second channel. A link will be in the description as well as the pinned comment. So what do these stats mean? Well, what these stats mean is the potential of how good the Pokemon can be. It doesn't necessarily mean that the Pokemon is good in Pokemon Go, but that is mostly because of the moveset that the Pokemon gets. You could have a Pokemon with an incredible set of stats, but a terrible moveset, therefore it will not be good in Pokemon Go. You could have a Pokemon that doesn't have that great of stats, have a very good moveset, and it could be good in Pokemon Go, simply because of that. So at the end of the day, what this represents is true potential, but long term, I do believe that this is the truest indicator of potential success. And all it takes is a simple moveset change, which we have seen multiple times in Pokemon Go. So this is going to be the top 10 list, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's go ahead and start this list off in at the number 10 spot. First things first, we've got Rhyperior. Now, Rhyperior may have gone under the radar for a lot of people in Pokemon Go, mostly because of a Pokemon like Rampardos being released simultaneously, and then at the same time from the ground typing, it can't necessarily compete with a Pokemon like Groudon. But at the same time, it is not a bad Pokemon. It does have some major potential. Attack stat is a little bit on the low side, but who knows? If we end up seeing a new moveset added into the game, maybe from the ground typing, Rhyperior could be propelled to a very good spot. So definitely keep that in mind. If you do have one, just kind of hold on to it. You may not use it as much now, but you could in the future. Number 9, Hettran. So Hettran is a Pokemon that once again has some incredible stats, but it is unfortunately held back by the moveset. This Pokemon is very comparable to Moltres from the attack stat, but other than that, its other stats outpace it, so you would think that it has a very good chance of being better than Moltres, but the moveset holds it back. We have a move like Fire Blast, Iron Head. Fire Blast gets beat by a lot of moves like Flamethrower, Overheat, Blast Burn. Then Iron Head gets beat by Meteor Mash, so it doesn't really have that much of a chance. And then to make it even worse, as the Steel typing, it doesn't even have a double Steel type moveset. It has Bug Bite on the front end, which I don't think is too helpful to it. But we all know how Niantic is. They like to release a Pokemon now and give it a terrible moveset just to re-release it and give it an exclusive move later on. So hold on to your Heatrans. It could end up being good in the future. Number 8, the king of all Pokemon with the most potential that was unrealized. And then it had something very bad happen. It got a new moveset added in, which made it technically a little better, but it's still unfortunately outpaced by some other Pokemon. So when we're talking about Ho-Oh, the thing I like about it is its well-roundedness, and I would love to be able to use it, but currently a lot of people like to use Solar Beam on it. But as you will see for the hidden power, as far as the hidden power is concerned, you would love to get a fire type hidden power out of it. That way you could get an artificial, or I guess a real, double stab benefit from the fire typing with Fire Blast, but Fire Blast just gets beat by so many moves. Brave Bird, on the other hand, is kind of interesting, but it gets beat by a move like Sky Attack. It all comes down to the moveset, which is very unfortunate. So maybe Ho-Oh in the future will get a new move like Sacred Fire or something else, and then it will become as good as it should be. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Number 7, Melmetal. Now this is the most recent addition added into Pokemon Go. A very interesting Pokemon. The one thing that is a little bit of a red flag is related to its worst stat, and that is its attack stat. So regardless of having a very good rank, its attack stat is unfortunately a little bit on the lower side at 231. But that could actually kind of be a good thing if you plan to use this Pokemon in PvP. It's not a bad Pokemon in the Great League like most legendary or mythical Pokemon would be, but using the moveset Thundershock, Thunderbolt, It's probably your best bet, but hey, it's got Flash Cannon, once again gets outpaced by Meteor Mash, so it's just very unfortunate how unbalanced some of these moves are in Pokemon Go, and I think that this really showcases it. Up next is a tie, but the reason why I put Groudon first is because I think that Groudon has some major potential to be fulfilled in Pokemon Go. So first things first, an amazing attack stat, which is very good in the game. But if you will check out the moveset, we've got Mud Shot, Earthquake, which is great for Groudon to have that double stab benefit, but many people don't know how bad Earthquake is, especially compared to other moves in the game. And because of that, what a lot of people end up doing is bypassing Earthquake altogether and just using Solar Beam, because Solar Beam can put out more damage despite not even having the stab benefit, which is very unfortunate. So who knows, maybe we'll see some new moves added into the game very soon, and maybe Groudon will be one of those Pokemon that does get it. Because to be honest, I think ground type needs a major rework, or at least some type of buff. Up next is Kyogre. So it actually has the exact same stats as Groudon in the game, but the difference is Kyogre pretty much realizing its potential currently in the game because it has an incredible moveset of Waterfall and Hydro Pump. And once again, like we talked about, this is one of the first Pokemon that we've seen that has an incredible set of stats, and it has a moveset to back it up. So you can see, in this case, Kyogre dominates it. In the other cases, you don't really hear about them quite as much, but that's because of the moveset. So I would say that Kyogre kind of represents this group and what it could be like if these Pokemon end up getting a really good moveset. Number 4. Garchomp, the first Pokemon that we have seen on this list, currently not released in the game, but man, I cannot wait for Garchomp to come in. I'm crossing my fingers that we do get a new type of ground moveset. Who knows, maybe for a Garchomp community day we end up seeing something. So these movesets can change, by the way, but we do have Dragon Tail and Outrage, which is definitely good, and then we have Mud Shot and Earthquake, so it does have a double stab benefit off of these moves. But like I said before, ground type just unfortunately can't compete with other typings, so hopefully we do see an upgrade in either the damage or some new moves from the ground typing. But something that I like about Garchomp, once again, is its well-roundedness, and its best stat is its attack stat. It does have a lot of competition, though, from that dragon typing. There's a lot of really good dragon types. So who knows, hopefully Garchomp doesn't end up falling too far behind. I predict it'll probably be about the 4th best dragon type attacker, but we're going to have to wait and see. Number 3, Tyranitar. So the highest Pokemon currently available in the game, but believe it or not, it still has some potential that has not been realized yet. If you check it out, an incredible set of stats, very well rounded in the game. Its best stat being its attack stat at 251. But what a lot of people don't know about Tyranitar, they really don't think about it because it does so well from the dark typing, from the rock typing, is that it doesn't even have the best moveset available. You've got a moveset like Crunch, right? Well, it can get outpaced by a move like Foul Play. You have a move like Stone Edge. It can get outpaced by a move like Rock Slide. Take Rampardos, for example, having the move Rock Slide. It is a dominant Pokemon just because of that, so Tyranitar could technically become even better if it got an upgrade to its moveset, especially related to the charge moves. I'm very excited to see what happens with it. You know, I'm definitely Team Tyranitar. I do think it has an incredible set of stats, and it does well already, but it could technically do even better, so we're going to cross our fingers that it does get a better moveset at some point in time. Number 2, Regigigas. Now, Regigigas is nothing to laugh at as far as the stats are concerned. If you check out that attack stat, at 287 ranked at 6th, giving it an overall ranking of 2nd in Pokemon Go. This is a monster in Pokemon Go. Unfortunately, people think that its potential will not be realized, actually not because of the moveset, but because of something else. And that is its ability known as Slow Start. Now, this ability, how it will be introduced in Pokemon Go, is really anybody's guess at this point in time, but you can bet that Niantic will find some way to nerf it to some extent, kind of like what they did with Slacking and the move Yawn. If it wasn't for Yawn, Slacking would be very good in Pokemon Go, but I'm kind of worried something similar is going to happen to Regigigas, but who knows, maybe they'll just say, it's fine, we'll just give it all non-stab benefit movesets, and then we'll just call it a day. That would be great, to be honest, but we're just going to have to wait and see. So that leads into the number 1 spot, and that is Arceus. Now, we have not seen this Pokemon added into Pokemon Go, but if you check out these stats, take a look at how tight those ranks are. Its worst stat being its attack stat, unfortunately, at 238 ranked at 43rd. I mean, that's really the only red flag. And as we know in Pokemon Go, unfortunately, the attack stat is just a huge stat in the game. But yes, you can go ahead and check out the moveset, but we don't exactly know how Arceus is going to work at this point in time. This is a current placeholder for it, but it could get all of the plates released into the game. It could have different movesets based on the different plates, or it could just have a massive moveset pool, kind of like a Pokemon like Mew, for example. It could be like that, where you could kind of like change it to anything and everything that you want, but definitely some major potential, and I'm very excited to see how Arceus performs. So other than that, there might be a couple of Pokemon that you're like, well, why wasn't Mewtwo on this list? Why wasn't Rayquaza on this list? For the most part, it was really just because of like one thing. It could end up having just one stat that kind of held it back from an overall ranking. But like we said before, this really just indicates like kind of like future proof, and it promotes well-roundedness. A Pokemon like Mewtwo with having just kind of like one stat that's a little bit off, or a Pokemon like Rayquaza that has one stat that is a little bit lackluster, is why it didn't make it on this list, but they're still great Pokemon. That just about wraps up the video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Did any of these Pokemon catch you by surprise? Definitely let me know in the comments section below, and I will see you next time. I wanted to extend a huge thank you to the supporters over at Patreon. You definitely make this possible, and I 100% appreciate this support. If you are interested in supporting my channel on Patreon, definitely feel free to check out the link in the description.